Hi, I'm Julie Gahigas. I'm a faculty member in the School of Communication at the University of Akron, and this video is all about the change I am making to my course PR Publications based on what I learned through the Institute of Teaching, Learning, and Assessment at the University of Akron and their learning community this summer, which featured Dr. James Lang, a noted expert in excellent teaching. So here's my idea.
The ITLA workshop this summer was called Rekindling the Joy of Teaching, and we met with Dr. James Lang, who is an expert in higher education and pedagogy. We read his book, Distracted, Why Students Can't Focus on What You Can Do About It. My mind was blown, and I came up with this idea for my course, Public Relations Publications. One of the paradigm shifts that happened for me after this workshop and reading this book is the way I conceptualize attention has changed. I originally always thought of attention as a given or like the bare minimum of what a student should be doing. And now I understand that actually it's an achievement for them to pay attention. And the attention is the islands in an ocean of distraction. In my PR Publications course, taking notes is essential because of the steep learning curve for the technologies that we're using. And oftentimes I struggle to get students to pay attention deeply enough to take usable notes. So that's where I found my attention challenge. Please, oh goddess of pedagogy, let them take functional notes. Throughout his book, Dr. Lang offers several approaches to cultivating attention, and one of the ones that inspired me the most was the idea of creating a signature educational activity, usually one that lasts outside the bounds of a single class but might span the entire semester, that can help students focus their attention. I also drew inspiration from the last part of our learning community, which was a workshop at the UA Field Station, where I got to know my leaf buddy, Leif Erickson. I'm not having the students find a leaf, but I am having them create these notebooks, like this one that you see here, that have some creative elements that will hopefully give them more ownership over their notes, over their notebook, and hopefully they'll also see me as a co-owner. And so, ta-da, my curriculum change. To address this challenge, I will be giving the students a notebook that they will use throughout the semester. The purpose of this signature activity, which is a class notebook that each student will keep, is to help them focus their attention on taking notes, ultimately to create a useful guide, not only to what I demonstrate, but also to their sketches and examples from the semester. To operationalize that into a learning objective, students will create a useful, and that's an important word here, guide, to using industry standard software and formal rules of design in order to create compelling visual communication design. I don't love how design's in there twice, but I do think this is an accurate objective for my signature activity. And of course, that learning objective feeds into the larger course learning objectives, which are to utilize type, text, and grid systems to create PR collateral based on current design convention and theory, and to utilize desktop publishing software, including Adobe InDesign and Photoshop, to create print pieces. Some details about my activity. I will be providing the notebooks, which will have 60 pages. They're mini notebooks and have graph paper inside to assist them with their sketching. Their first activity with their notebook, which is intended to give them some ownership and excitement about the notebook, is that they will be designing a cover for the notebook on the first day of class. They will be instructed to show us their aesthetic, to create something or to utilize their creativity, and to create something that will help them introduce themselves to their classmates. Here's an example of what a cover might look like. This is one that I painted today for my notebook for the course, and I will talk about both my artistic pursuits and my love of Lake Erie when I introduce myself to the class. One of the activity parts that's going to make this a usable design is that students will be asked to create the same table of contents and number all the pages of their book. This is going to help them to organize this information and also to reference it later in order to help them with their exams in the course, as well as assignments they may have at their career or internship in the future. After the first opening lecture of the semester or opening session where they've created their cover, they're going to receive a flipped video-based lecture on how to number the pages, how to create their contents, and how to take notes. It is very important that they understand how to take notes for design steps and demonstrations, as well as how to structure their daily notes with the demonstration information, reminders, and then notes about what is due for the upcoming class. As you can see here, I'm also showing how they will do their sketch homework for each of the design projects. These notebooks will make up 10% of their total grade, and they will submit them bi-weekly for a notebook review as part of the course session. They will be assessed on a competency basis, which will include completeness of their notes as well as accuracy. And what that looks like in the syllabus is this. There's some description of what the notebooks checks will look like, and then these criteria, important concepts are present, steps are fully outlined, and all required sketches appear. As if 10% of their total grade isn't enough incentive, they are also allowed to use the notebooks on the midterm and final exams, which should virtually guarantee they will get all of the formatting points and all of the formal points for their design rule following. So there's my idea.
Well, I hope that that idea sparks some inspiration for you, or maybe just encourages you to pick up the book, Distracted by Dr. James Lang, and give it a read. I definitely think you will not regret reading it. Thank you so much for listening, and hey, have a great school year.